Welcome to Adventure and Repeat. Here we are to talk about the top 10 things you need for your RV this year. So, if this is your first time here, make sure you like and subscribe this video because we got a lot of cool content coming that you might want to find out about. With everything I'm going to talk about today, we are not getting paid to advertise anything, so everything we are showing is what we found works for us. All the links will be in the descriptions because if it works for us and you want it to, we'll send the link that way. We make no money off it. It's just there so you can find it easier. First thing that everybody should have when they're traveling is a first aid kit. This is one that I just bought the bag and filled the contents with. Bought the things I thought we needed for our family. You can buy just a generic kit that's already pre-made and that works just fine. But everybody should have a first aid kit because bumps, scrapes, and bruises do happen, especially when you have little kids. You know, have the band-aids for them. So any kind of first aid kit works, but it's always good to have something. Next thing you always need, toilet paper. First thing you hate to figure out you're missing on a road trip is toilet paper. So always make sure you have toilet paper on hand, just as a reminder. The next thing is a surge protector. This is a hardwired surge protector by Progressive Industries. I like it. This is what I actually have in my camper. Our camper did not come with one. I added one because I've seen these take some hits and they keep working. And they're lifetime warranty, so this is a nice thing I liked. You can get the dog bone style one that you just add on to the end of your extension cord and you plug into the box. And those do work. It's just cumbersome to have to take one of those around all the time and plug it in. It's an extra thing you have to store. Not to mention, they can get stolen. They're not cheap, and all you gotta do is unplug and walk away when somebody's not around. So I chose to go with the hardwired option for this. They work great. It wasn't that hard to install. I'll even have a video coming out here pretty soon of how to install one. They're good units. Is it required to have? No. You are not required to have these in an RV to go camping. They haven't had them for a long time. What they do is if you ever have bad power or a surge coming in, lightning strike, things like that, the power coming into the RV will get caught by this surge protector and prevent electronics getting damaged in your RV, which can add up to be pretty costly because nowadays there are a lot more electronics on board these RVs. So for a very small price to have one of these added in, it can save you a lot of headache down the road. Next thing you got to have is you got to have a water hose. You can't forget to have one of these because you got to have water coming in their camper. I like this 0G hose because it basically piles back in the box. It's flexible. It's potable water rated. You got to make sure it's for fresh drinking water. A normal garden hose that you buy at the store is not good for drinking. It's got to be for potable water. So this 0G hose works for us. That's why I have it on here, just as a reminder not to forget it. Next thing to talk about when we're talking about hoses is water filters. You always want to have some type of water filtration in your RV. Whether you have the onboard filters that are inside the house, the 10-inch canisters, or just this cheap blue one that you buy at the store, Myers, Walmart, Amazon, that just goes in line. It pays dividends just to have some type of filter in line just to keep the sand, dirt, and debris that comes out of the hoses from the water filter systems and things like that, just to keep it out of your RV. Pays dividends. This is what I use, just a cheap one. Nothing too special, it just goes in line. Next thing is extension cord and adapters, whatever you may need. We have a 30 amp RV hookup, so we have the 30 amp plug. And this adapter just reduces it down to a standard house 15 amp extension cord. So if we're staying at a friend's house or we need to plug into our own house, we can adapt it down and plug in. The key note is when it's adapted down to 15 amp, we don't have enough power to run the air conditioner. We can still run the refrigerator, the furnace, the lights, and everything else that's involved, but we just don't have enough to run the air conditioner. So we like to have this on hand. It just stores in a drawer. It takes up no space. It's just good to have. Some RV parks, if you're staying at state parks, things like that, sometimes they don't have a 30 or 50 amp hookup. So you're going to want to have an adapter, at least adapt down to 15 amp to be able to get you by and enjoy the stay while you're out there. So that's also why we have a just standard extension cord to go with it. Next thing is leveling blocks. These are just the leveling blocks that we use. They work good for us. You can stagger them out, you can stack them. They're interlocking, so they work very well for us. Not all RV sites are perfect level sites. We do use these quite a bit, but very rarely do we need more than one for each axle. If we do need more, we can adjust and it's not a big deal. So having a set of RV blocks pays to have it. You can just use 2x4s or 2x12s, things like that, but I like having blocks that are interlocking and stackable. So that way, when I'm driving up on them, I can use them as a ramp and they are secure. They're not going to slide out on me. So they're more stable, more compact, and they store up very nice when they stack up. They come in a nice tote, and they store away nicely in the package that they come with. So it works out very well. When you're leveling the RV, it's good to have a level, because unless you're guessing, which does work, this will at least get you closer. Whether you go side to side or forward and back, this will get you really close. So a level is a good thing to have. You can get them in different sizes. I just got a cheap generic 6-inch one. It's not anything special, but it does work. So when I park it, I can set this down. If I'm off a couple inches, you know, I'll be off. I can go run it up on blocks, level it out. And then when I go to unhook it, I can set forward and backwards tilt right inside the door. And then that's all I need. Just simply put it on the floor, check it both ways. When I'm good or level, good enough, we can move on with life. Get on to enjoying the nice things. The next thing I always suggest, is not the thing that everybody needs very often, is some type of tire changing tools. I have a just cheap, this is just a 6-ton bottle jack. That's more than enough for what this RV weighs. It just matched the height that I need to get underneath the axle to be able to lift the tire up off the ground. I also have a tire wrench to go with that. Just a simple 4-way that collapses up. So if I have different tire sizes, lug nut size, I can use that as well, or somebody else can borrow it. So I have one of those stored away, and then I have a simple bottle jack just to jack it up to be able to get the tire off. Because flat tires don't always happen, but they do happen. So it's better to have one and be prepared than to not have one at all. So that is everything for the top 10 things to have for your RV for 2024. There are a lot of other things out there in the world that you could have, but these are what I feel as the necessities, the things you need to have to get started on your trip. There are plenty of other things and other accessories you can have make your life easier, and that will be time for another video. So, in conclusion, there are a lot of things out there. There's a lot of other people that say different things as well. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I just do this for a living. I work on everything all the time. This is just what we do when we travel with our kids. So, this is Adventure and Repeat. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. So you tell us what you think about it. Tell us what you want to hear about. And be back for more.